As Shamin shared in terms of the experience that she had in terms of going through with trying to get a job and trying to go out there and trying to feel as an adult, as I would say, because being with the children, you start to become one of them, as strange as that sounds, because you start to miss the contact of the adults. And I'm sure you mothers here could actually identify what Shamin is saying, But what about when I listen and we talk about division, and we see the lack of communication that takes place within households, the unfaithfulness, the finance issue, because we know we live in a difficult financial age. But when I started to look at all these divisions, and we started to drill down a little more, I started to see things like greed, and lust, and hatred, and bitterness, insecurity, a lack of trust, complacency, and the list went on and on and on and on. And as I started to think, why, we go to this. I mean, Shamin gave an example as to what, the support that she got, and that how she was able to go through and work through and get her job and everything, and start to feel once again. But there are so many of us who don't get that opportunity. And I think in a lot of instances, when we're trying to achieve our goals, we work so hard to get them. We work so hard to get this job. I work so hard to get Shamin as a wife. Listen, I left my choir and joined their choir, right? Just so I could be close to her, and did all these little things to be there with her and what have you. But what I find happening is that as you get into your marriage and the children come along and the pressures of the daily life starts to take its place, the job and so on, we start to become complacent in the marriage. We start to put the children first, put the job first, and our spouse tends to fall by the wayside, right? And you start to live like brother and sister, because the passion is starting to go, it's almost gone, and we become so disillusioned and unhappy, because we stop working at the marriage and we start to take things for granted. But what do you think happening? That is when the unfaithfulness start to step in. And you have this situation where you're talking to the person in the job, boy, see Shamin, oh, she will give me pressure, Hey, and I come home is nag. And what we're beginning to understand is that we are now sharing with a third party a problem that I should be sharing with her. Now, I might be talking to another brother, but we have to be careful, because you see, that brother might say, I could now start looking at Shamin myself. Because if they have problems, good, I could slip in here. Or if I'm talking to another woman, because I'm trying to get another woman's view, well, why my wife would be getting on that way? And then all of a sudden she started saying, well, I know how to fix that problem. But for me, and we have to understand that when God called us, He called us to be together for life. And one of the challenges I have as a young man here today, and unfortunately I see my young brothers and sisters gone, because I think it's a message that they need to understand as well. That they have to understand that when we are in this, God calls us to be together for life.
Amen.
Too often as couples or as individuals, we seek to improve our education. And we get in a tertiary degree. Why? So we could work till 50 and 60 and have a good job and be financially secured. And when you ask couples to go to engage in Conctan, the pre-marriage course, no, they don't want that. You know why they don't want that? Because it's boring. But brothers and sisters, I have a simple philosophy to ask, or a simple question to ask young couples who planning to get married. What qualifications do you have to make you to be a good husband or wife? What's your qualifications? What are your qualifications to make you a good parent? You see, it's all about satisfying my need. It's all about me being selfish. It's all about me driving at what I want. And I look more and more at this and I say, this don't make sense. And as I prayed about it a little more, God had revealed Malachi 2:16. And Malachi 2:16 says clearly, "For I hate divorce, says Yahweh, God of Israel, and people concealing their cruelty under a cloak, says Yahweh Sabaoth. Have respect for your own life then, and do not break faith." You see, God says in no uncertain terms, He hates divorce. But we have couples say, well, we go try it now. Let me get married now. Or we go shack up and see how it works. No, that's not what God calling us to. God is calling us to a life with Him. A life as a couple with Him in the middle. That's what God calling us for. So when I see young couples and they say, this pre-marriage course and this engaging course is a waste of time, I have other things to say about that. Because I don't know what gives you the right to think that you will make a good husband or a good wife. And I'm not saying people don't try their best to make sure things work. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that the more tools that I have at my disposal is the more tools I will be able to use to make my life easier. And that's what we have to understand. We have to stop sitting back and figure, because I now married to this woman here, I could sit back and I could relax. To this day, my wife and I, almost 20 years married, June this year, we still hold hands together walking down the road.
Amen.
Right? We still kiss one another publicly and open. And I don't know why couples shy away from this sort of practice. Courtship is one of the greatest false advertisement they have in the world. Because when you're courting, you're on the phone all the time. You're going by the girl all the time. Right? You're always, any little opportunity you get, you're behind the woman. But when you get married, you always want to be out of the house. What's that about? I don't get it. I'm missing something, and maybe somebody someday will explain it to me. But until such time, I don't